Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bruce McDonald, and this is the Talamanca Review. Doing the podcast on my new iPad now, and you can plug the microphone into it, so I can just go any other part of the house and do the podcast, which is kind of cool. I was going to just sneak off to bed and not do a podcast tonight, but I don't know. At the same time, I felt like there was something in there that had to come out, and I don't know where this stuff, I know where it comes from, but I don't want to give you the idea that I'm going around all day thinking about this stuff and musing about it. It just kind of happens in the moment. When I sit down to do the podcast, it just sort of happens, And, I I'm trying to think of where to go in this podcast, and I'm looking for new things to say and new perspectives. And then another part of me is thinking I should just go on a cycle of about 6 weeks and then just rehash the same topics over and over again in fresh and spontaneous podcasts that are unscripted. But the same general themes I'm talking about, because I don't think they can be glossed over, and I think that in some sense they need to be repeated, almost like a mantra, And I don't think I'm in any risk of sounding like a broken record, And I'm not talking about repeating facts or anything like that. That's a broken record. What I'm talking about really is reinterpreting some of the core concepts of the Talamanca Review, the concept of manifestation, the concept of awakened imagination, and the concept of humans as the ultimate agent in this 3D realm, and nothing gets done through us, and then talking about all these things in different ways, and just same ingredients, different recipe, right? Like there's hundreds of different kinds of pasta, but at the end of the day, it's just flour, eggs, and salt, and a red sauce or a white sauce, or whatever, eggplant or no eggplant, or sweet peppers or no sweet peppers. You get the point, right? And I guess this is leading me to what I want to talk about tonight, which is the circumstance we're in, and this epic battle between the negative and positive pole that's underway on this planet. And make no mistake about it, you're in a war. Okay, let me just stop and let that sink in for a sec. Make no mistake about it, you're in a war. Okay? I would say that you're in the middle of World War III right now. It's just that it's not like the kinetic wars of the 20th century. And this is a freaky war in the sense that I don't think the nationals or the nation state is really the agent of conflict, which is a very unique concept because, war has always been very much like a sporting match. And it's been like a rugby match. Just look at it. The relationship between sports and war is mind-boggling. It's a competition for supremacy. The only difference is that in sport, nobody dies. Sometimes they do. Sometimes in boxing or some of the mixed martial arts. That's always an accident, though. Right? It's never really intentional. But you got uniforms, right? You got team captains. Those are your platoon sergeants. You got owners. Just like the Buffalo Bills and the Toronto Maple Leafs have owners. All of the NFL, NHL, NBA teams, they have owners. The similarities between sport and war is really kind of alarming. But this war we're in now, there's a spiritual dimension to this war that a lot of it is taking place inside of our heads. Now, at the same time, and I'll get back to, I realize I'm just glossing over that, but let me come back to it in a couple minutes. At the same time, there are real planned, executed, and consequential tactical maneuvers in this war, which are debilitating us by region and by flag, where the flag is currency. It's not the actual flag itself. Nobody gives a shit if you take a flag down and burn it anymore. So not the 1960s or 1970s. I mean, it might offend a few American veterans or parents of veterans who died in war. But the average person doesn't give a shit if you burn a flag. Nobody would give a shit if a Canadian flag got burned. There's just no respect for the country anymore. It's not even a country anymore. Right? Now, in the case of Canada, a significant portion of the warfare is taking place against the people by the government. Okay? Anybody, any social theorist, any social scientist, any demographer, any sociologist, any anthropologist will tell you that you cannot change the demographics of a country, the population base, by 15-20% in a decade, or 30% in a decade. Well, we went from 30 million to 40 million in about a decade, from 2015 to 2025. And it's interesting, the cover, you know, they got a lot of stuff done under the cover of COVID. Now, if you're watching me now and you're thinking this guy sounds a bit paranoid, fuck off. Stop watching the podcast. I don't want you here. I don't want your energy here. You're literally too stupid to be listening to me. Go fuck yourself. And I'm tired of being patient because there's no room for fucking polite anymore. Okay? I mean, if you can't handle harsh words from me, how are you going to handle being gang raped by Muslims? Or beheaded? Or evicted from your home? Okay? Because if you don't think that's coming, you're not paying attention. Let me go through it a little bit, okay? Let me refresh your memory so you can see this reality through my eyes. And you can understand why I think it's all intentional. Let's begin it with, I'd say, Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton commences the process of setting China up to enter the World Trade Organization. Now, Bill Clinton was directly told China will be entering the World Trade Organization in the early part of the new century, the 21st century. He was probably told as far back as 92 when he joined office. They're told a lot of things, these presidents. They're not told everything because they're not fucking running anything. Okay? If you think these elected leaders are running anything, you're fucking crazy. Do you think Trump's running anything? You're fucking crazy. He's not running anything. Well, he's running the country into the ground, is what he's doing. He's a fucking piece of shit, is what he is. Okay? Absolute piece of fucking shit at this point. So, upon learning that China would be the favored nation and they were going to groom it to take over world leadership, or be, if not outright leadership, then to be a managerial and economic example for the world. And so China was groomed. If you think they did this on their own, you're fucking crazy. I lived in Taiwan for 2 years. I know China. I know Chinese people. They did not fucking do 1992 to 2010 on their own. They were groomed by fucking globalists like Klaus Schwab and Henry Kissinger and people like this. You know, the same people who've been running the world since, I don't know, since the early 70s, or influencing the world to get us to this point. I shouldn't say running the world, because a lot of times the forward-looking think tanks, and the WAF began as a think tank. Nobody knew who the fuck they were till about 10 years ago. right? It was this little think tank in which Klaus Schwab was appointed by Henry Kissinger in 1971 or 1972. Now, we've been over all this stuff on the Talamanca Review, and this is what I'm going to say about, I am going to have to repeat myself now, okay? Because I got to make sure that, well, what is my overriding goal? Well, to inform you that the outcome of circumstance in the life of a nation and the life of generations within that nation is much like the Super Bowl and most of pro sports, completely fucking fixed. Okay? If you live in a world where you think things happen randomly, now maybe in the past they did. Okay? Maybe in the past they did. But from about 1947 onwards, from the National Security Act, all of this fucking craziness I write about in The Devil in Us, and if you haven't read it, give it a read, please. It's a fantastic book. It will help you understand this podcast. It will help you understand what's going on around you. And quite frankly, it will be like not a life raft, but one of those flotation devices, a buoy with a rope on it thrown from a yacht if you've fallen overboard. And despite your pride and whatever you think of yourself, I can tell you right now, you're probably overboard. Okay. Oh, no, Bruce, I'm good. I understand what's going on. Really? Are you prepared to deal with it? No. Well, you're overboard. Okay? You're just overboard. And the devil in us is a buoy. It'll help you stay afloat, and it might pull you back into the boat. Because this is about survival now. All right? And there's so many layers to this. I mean, oh my God, I've looked at it so many different ways in so many different podcasts. I've looked at it right after World War II when we found out that Henry Kissinger was actually like one of the head guys in Majestic 12 in the secret space program. Kabbalist Kissinger. This is what I'm telling you. They're all fucking Kabbalists. Ceremonial magic opens portals. What comes through portals? Things most people today conditioned to believe are extraterrestrials because they've been... Why would they believe that? Star Wars, Star Trek, Boldly Go Where No Man Has Gone Before, Philip K. Dick, Blade Runner, Off-World... Join an off-world colony now. Join an off-world colony now. Look at the level of programming that's gone into making you believe that these things coming into our reality are from another planet. Okay? They're not. In some instances they are, but not really. Okay? And they don't move around in fucking spaceships, okay? They may appear in spaceships when they come through, but the spaceship is really just a containment field that allows them to go from one point to another, one dimension to another. And if you haven't figured it out yet, and if I've been too obtuse in explaining it to you on the Talamanca Review, let me simply fucking tell you. We have now mastered interdimensional travel. This is not interstellar travel. This is interdimensional travel. This was the goal of the ceremonial magicians, which is the basis of Western theology. The Vatican are ceremonial magicians. That's why they wear the fucking robes and do their... What does a magician do? In ceremonial magic, okay? In the tradition of ceremonial magic, whether it be Enochian magic, chaos magic, black magic, whatever. They do rituals, right? What do you see at the Vatican? You see fucking rituals, don't you? Okay? What do you think these fucking rabbis are doing? They're doing fucking rituals. What do you think the Kabbalah teaches? It teaches fucking rituals. Okay? What is a ritual? And again, this is what I mean by repeating myself, but it's important. Okay? And every time it comes out, because it's off the top of my head, every time it comes out a little bit different, it's going to help somebody. And I'd like to be able to help some people. It's not like I'm doing this for fucking money. So the culture we're living in now is being presented to us as scientific, but really it's the apex of ceremonial magic. Okay? Now you understand why these fucking whack jobs are doing rituals outside CERN in Europe. You understand? Hello? Anybody home? Do you get it? So ceremonial magic or ritual is a series of measures, weights, and sequences and timing. Okay? That's what a formula is. It's a kind of math. That's what a ritual is, a formula. Okay? Now I've never done magic. Never really been at a magical ritual. I have read. Okay? I have read initiate only texts. How I get my hands on this stuff, that's for me to know and you not to know. But I do. People trust me and they give me stuff. And so initiate texts are texts that you're not supposed to read or even have access to unless you're an initiate in the path and at the correct level to have the material. All of the secret societies have this stuff, okay? In Masonry and certain other sects of Judaism and Kabbalistic study, there are severe penalties for allowing internal esoteric texts to seep out into the public. They take that stuff very seriously. The Masons do. They used to be 100 years ago, they'd kill you. They still do. Remember that banking scam with the 33-day Pope? It was in the 70s or the 80s? I can't remember when it was. But, and you had a few people hung from bridges in England and they were bankers. There you go. That's what they do. That's a Masonic death, okay? For breaking oath, breaking secrecy, breaking confidence, okay? Now, if magic is a good thing, why doesn't everybody get to know it? Why do they keep a secret? Right? Same reason you conceal a gun. You don't want people to know you have it on you. You don't want people to know what you can do if shit goes south. Same thing with magic. They don't want to live in a world where everybody is an accomplished magician. They have no advantage. They can't hack time. They can't juice people. They can't extort people. They can't arrange circumstance to take some dumb fucking goy's shekels and get it into their pocket. That's what magic does. Okay? It's all around you. Most of the world you're living in now is magical, whether you realize it to be that or not. I don't give a fuck whether you get it. Well, I do, or otherwise I wouldn't do the podcast. I don't know why I'm so cranky today. It's because it's 2.5 weeks and this cold is still not fully gone. This is like some COVID level shit here. But the grandkids coming in tomorrow. My wife's pretty excited. So am I. It's my birthday tomorrow. I turned 59. Which is probably another reason I'm cranky. So, well, what's a formula? I just described what a ritual is. What's a formula? Well, okay, let's say a chemical formula. What's the chemical formula for Prozac? Well, it's a series of portions added in sequence in a chemical so there may be 2 or 3 things that have to chemically bind first, and once they're chemically bound, then you add another element of it, and then another, and another. But if you get it wrong, you could potentially produce something that fries somebody's brain, right? Not that the stuff they're selling now, and which passes the FDA, is really any good for you at all. The pharmakia is really one of the great arms of the chaos in our world now, and the only saving grace to it is nobody buys into it to the degree that Americans do. And, in a way, Americans have become sort of victims of their own culture, So the master salesman, the problem with being a master salesman is you can always get sold yourself. It's almost like the karma of a salesman. I'll tell you a story. I had a buddy. He's about a decade older than me. He died 2 years ago. He had cancer, then stupidly got vaccinated, and he beat the cancer. It was throat cancer. Went through a huge, lengthy process, beat the cancer, and then the cancer came back and it killed him after he got vaccinated. I didn't have the heart to tell him the vax did it. His name was Tim, and he was just a guy I met at a coffee shop in the area I raised my son, and we just kind of became acquaintances or friends. And Tim was a consummate salesman. Like, he was like Willie Loman. And I used to give him a hard time about it. He fucking hated it. He got real angry at me a few times. And what he did was he had a bunch of contacts in China. He was very good at sourcing materials. And he would bring Chinese glass in for condo buildings and bring over the shipping container and everything. And I mean, a good sale could make him a lot of money. Like one sale could make him $50,000, right? It's a very lucrative business because the Canadian and American glass companies couldn't compete with the Chinese companies because Chinese labor is so much cheaper, right? And the Chinese have really built up their transportation system. So they give you a really good deal on shipping it over as well. Because, the windows and frames for a 20, 30-story condo building, I mean, that's a number of 40-foot containers, right? And that's what Tim did for a living. Now, old Timmy, he got busted out by the Italian mafia in a horse rigging scheme. They sold him on it, right? And he lost his life savings. And this was in between the two bouts of cancer. And he had to rebuild himself all back up. It was quite a horrific journey he had to go through. But I was just always astounded how stupid he could have been to fall for like a horse racing scam. And then the only thing that answered my question, like why he was so susceptible to that, was, well, it's because he's a salesman. And that's part of the ironic mirror I talk about. So the people who are really good at convincing you to buy something you don't need, their karma is they get taken worse than anybody. And if I've seen it once, I've seen it 100 times. And again, I realize kids aren't literate these days, but, thank God most of my listenership is baby boom or Gen X. So there's a little bit of literacy there. But if you remember Willie Loman from Death of a Salesman, I mean, Arthur Miller just nailed that, like how fucking crazy that guy was. And how crazy people who sell shit for a living go after years. Salesman is a special kind of animal. And there's a special kind of karma to being a salesman. And you'll never see anyone other than maybe a drug dealer in whom money comes more quickly and leaves more quickly than a salesman. It's just part of the karmic pattern. So we're in the midst of the fulfillment of something that happened in, let's say 1947. I don't know when exactly, but when we broke through the dimensions in a definitive way. I mean, we had been doing it in a small scale way for centuries with the ceremonial magic. I mean, again, for those of you who know, I mean, John Dee and Edward Kelly were able to communicate with beings, non-physical beings, and get a lot of very concrete information. Like, this is the idea of the awakened imagination, right? This is how you know you're really communicating with beings, is that you get something that the world's not aware of, and when you qualify it, however you qualify it, mathematically, scientifically, or what have you, it proves out to be true. And so you were literally given something from another dimension. And the world we're living in now completely comes from another dimension. You can call it, if you want to do the whole fucking Carrie Cassidy thing or Stephen Greer thing. The two of them are Jewish and probably Kabbalists, or stupid, because they're stupid Jews too. You can say that, these are extraterrestrials. But not really. Okay? And again, one of the things I learned to let go of a long time ago is I don't give a fuck about the details because it's not important. What's important are the spiritual principles. Okay? The fucking details aren't going to save your soul. Sorry, Uncle Cliff. It's not how the fucking universe works. Universe, universe, universe. No, it's fucking God. It's God. There is a God. There's a fucking creator. A real creator, not fucking Yahweh or Odin or fucking Thor or Hashem or Allah or fucking Shiva or Vishnu or Brahma. None of these fucking mid-level entities that have been fucking with human beings and sucking energy off us for fucking millennia. A real God exists. Okay? I don't know why I'm getting so fucking worked up. I'm just sitting here on the patio. What's the matter with you, Bruce? Why can't you just relax, Bruce? There's a real God. There really is a God. Okay? It's amorphous. It has no shape. It cannot be anthropomorphized, meaning it cannot be thought of in human terms. And to anthropomorphize something is to attribute human qualities to it, 2 arms, 2 legs, and, the childish concept of God being a man living in the clouds with a white beard. It's nothing like that. It's something completely different, and it's very difficult to describe. And I've said before on my podcast, but again, I'm gonna become more shameless about repeating myself because, again, it's like a mantra. I think hearing it is important, okay? Very important, actually. So, the thing that makes what I call God, which is just the energy that sustains all the membranes we live within, all of the holograms we live within. Because remember, the 3D hologram we live in here is just one sheath of a 5-sheath hologram. There's the physical element. There's the astral element, and you can go and listen to all the astral travelers if you want to understand more about the astral world. I recommend the guy who wrote Journeys Out of the Body, Monroe. Or there's a young guy, relatively young man out there now who's a fairly accomplished astral traveler, Darius J. Wright, I believe his name is. Watch some of his videos. I myself don't give a flying fuck about the astral plane. I just couldn't give a shit. It's a shithole place. You don't want to spend a lot of time there. Okay? Then the other sheath, the next sheath is time. The next sheath is mind. And then you go into pure spirit. And then and only then can you say that you're behaving in a spiritual way. And 99.99999% of the stuff we talk about in public as spiritual is just one of these little realms between matter and true spirit. And this is the fate of the human race, perpetually fucking stupid. And the only people who come and try and help us, they get mocked, whoever they might be. But anyways, that's all coming to an end now. It's coming to an end because it can't go on any longer, and there has to be a resolution to this circumstance. And so there's going to be a resolution to this circumstance. I have a very optimistic outlook of it. I think that there's going to be a planet formed here in which you cannot stay on this planet anymore unless you're operating at a very high vibration. And those who can't hold the vibration of what the new Earth is going to be will be recycled to other planets to incarnate. Okay? So the concept of life on other planets is real. But look, again, most of the... So I got to try and explain this and how they've pulled off this fucking scam. And it fits perfectly into all the Willy Loman sales talk. This is why fucktards like Stephen Greer and Kerry Cassidy are so effective, because they're just selling you something. And we live in a culture that for 75 years has been conditioned to receive sales talk. And it's going to change your life, ladies and gentlemen. This potion here will cure crabs and cancer and Alzheimer's. Just 2 tablespoons a day, $19.99. No matter how many times some idiot fucking stands on a corner and says the same thing, he's going to unload 3 boxes of that shit on a Saturday afternoon because people are fucking stupid. And the problem with people is they always want to believe stupid shit. And they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work to prove reality out themselves. What was I saying before that? I think it was important, but I kind of lost my train of thought. Don't judge me. Even with a cold, I'm going to have a puff of my vape. Don't judge me. This is kind of fun doing the podcast outside. Got a lot of work going on Bob's house. We've ordered about $4,000 worth of material. It's supposed to be coming in on Monday. I'll document the whole thing and put videos up. This is going to be the most amazing house you've ever seen anyone build, and I'm not even a construction guy. But I do understand alternative earth-based construction. And with Bob's house, I'm merging the old and the new. So I'm going to do a rock base, cemented river stone, about that big. And I'm going to do that about 12 inches high. And then I'm going to start the cob on top of that. And then I'm going to have the whole house framed and welded together in 2x2 galvanized steel, kind of like the way you frame a house in North America in wood. And then I'm going to wrap concrete mesh around the posts and then put the cob in there and then just put a lime plaster over it. It's pure genius, man. But, I mean, I've been at this earth building game now for a long time, long time. Lime is my favorite friend up here, Lime. Okay, so where are we? What am I talking about? Okay, so what happened, I think the big secret in World War II was the breaking of the veil, like definitively breaking the veil into the next dimension. And I'm not sure if it was a competition or they were all working together. I can't really answer all your questions. I can tell you what my gut says. My gut says that there really wasn't a whole lot of difference between the Nazis and the Zionists, and that at the top level they're probably working together, because that's just the way the world works, right? Like, but whether it be, whatever technology and ritual, and remember how ritualistic and occult-centric the Nazis were. I mean, you can't go a week without seeing a documentary about that shit on the History Channel. Occult Germany, World War II, Himmler's palace. Here's the pentagram that they drew in gold leaf paint on the floor. And okay, Steven Spielberg doing his Indiana Jones, which is all about the Nazis and their hunt for the Ark of the Covenant. Who gives a fuck about the Ark of the Covenant? I don't give a fuck. Okay? Don't tell me it's something holy. Go fuck yourself. Tired of your fucking bullshit. Don't tell me you're fucking holy people when you're practicing genocide, and you're going to do it to us all eventually, you fucking cunts. We're not fucking stupid, okay? Don't tell me you're fucking holy. I'm not buying that shit anymore. Go fuck yourself, Rabbi Shmuley. Go fuck yourself, Rabbi Barclay. Go fuck yourself, Rabbi Freeman of the Chabad organization. Go fuck yourselves, okay? Fuck your Hashem, fuck your Yahweh, fuck your whole kiddie rape culture, you fucking pieces of shit. That felt surprisingly good. And let me throw the Cardinal Colleges in there too. Go fuck yourself, you Jesuit cunts. Okay? Go fuck yourself, you Cardinal of Colleges, you occult kitty fucking pieces of fucking shit. And throw the fucking Anglican Church in there, the fucking Presbyterians, the Mormons. The whole Western system is so fucking rotten now, it's unbelievable. It's all kitty fucking and blood magic. Where do you think all these kids are going? Why do you think they need so many fucking kids? You ever ask yourself that? Right? You ever notice that the intensity of information going around now is such that you can't hold shit in your memory? Remember remember Pizzagate 2016? What was that, like almost a decade ago now? You ever notice how fucking fast time is moving now? You ever notice how none of this shit gets resolved? It's one fucking scandal after another, and they throw some fucking catamite out there to tell you it's not true, like Don Lemon or Anderson. It's not true. And if you don't believe me, you're probably a white supremacist homophobe, just like the people who didn't want to get vaccinated, according to Justin Trudeau. Right? And people just, they have this cognitive shutting down program, and these programs now. I don't know if it's in the TV, the movies, or 5G on the subways in big cities, but people are so fucking stupid now. I don't even know why I podcast. Well, I know because I'm getting through to people, because I can tell by the comments I get from you folks. Okay? So, I mean, even if there's one person or 10 people that I can reach and help and get them through this time psychologically and give them a little grace and a little peace and a little comfort, I'm going to do it. Okay? Fuck it. The hell was I talking about? I can't even remember. Before I berated the Cardinal Colleges, the Jesuits, the United Church, the Anglican Church, the fucking Sanhedrin, and various named rabbis of the Chabad order. He's a holy man, Candace. How dare you? You don't understand our theology. Of course she doesn't, you fucking occult twat. You keep it away from the goy. It's actually right in your fucking scripture that any goy caught studying the Torah should be killed when you have Noahide law. So how dare you say to her she doesn't understand your scripture, you arrogant fucking kike. Fuck you. That felt good too. Just a man screaming in the rainforest. So what happened was in 47 or thereabouts, in that, let's go back to like 1930, somewhere between 1930 and 1947. That's 17 years. A whole bunch of shit happened. And I think it came through the Nazis and maybe the Zionists as well. But I think the Nazis did the bulk of the work, like in terms of accomplishing these things, okay? Like the breakthrough. Now, what is a breakthrough? A breakthrough is when you open up a bona fide portal and something that can come through, and it's physically here and physically 3D, okay? Now, there were great adepts at ceremonial magic in the 17th, 18th, 19th century who could do this. You can read stories about it being done by 33rd degree Masons and beyond 33rd degree at lodges, if you have access to the literature, and which you're not supposed to have access to. I mean, they're opening up portals and things are coming right into the lodge. Why do you think all these people stay in line? Remember when I told you there's a curtain they pull back, and if you're not prepared to see it, you kind of go into shock? Well, you're kind of going to go into shock in the next 5 years, okay? Unless you keep listening to the Talamanca Review, that'll give you a good resourcefulness to survive all of this, okay? But what happened is they opened up the portal in a big way, and then they started to get more information from the beings and the entities they were communicating with about how to, let's just say, to use one of their profane references, how to gape that portal even more, how to fist it even more and just fucking gape it like a porn star's ass so they could bring hundreds of fucking thousands or millions of these fucking beings in here. Okay? That's what's going on now. That's what CERN's about. That's what all this shit's. I think they've done it. Okay? And I think that's why they're so fucking cocky. I think they've done it. And I think, like I said in my last podcast, the only thing holding them back from, as Montgomery Burns says in The Simpsons, releasing the hounds, is they're going through a speculative period, a contemplative period, where they're trying to interpret how the Creator might react to this. Because the Creator does react to things. No, I wouldn't say react. Well, yeah, react. Or agents of the Creator, or levels of the Creator's reality The various sheaths will react certain way. So the physical sheath, the physical hologram, will react and have a certain karmic response to millions of beings coming into this dimension that did not come through the womb of a woman and are not the rightful agents, sentient agents of this realm, which is us, the human being. The physical realm will have a response to that. The astral realm will have a response to that. The causal realm will have a response to that. And the mental realm will have a response to that. And these entities coming in, they're not super evolved, okay? Like, none of this shit that's going on now, all this shit Stephen Greer's talking about is not really high-level shit. It's like, it's a bunch of astral nonsense is all it is. Astral hijinks, okay? But it's empowered these fucking cunts to make them think that they're super powerful and they're omnipotent, you know? And this is what gives them the feeling that they're a separate race within the human race. And then I'm also haunted by something Kat said on the interview I did with her some time ago. And, you know, how Darwin was one of their biggest fucking over of the human race ever, and how Darwin was part of a massive satanic agenda as well. And that's kind of given me a lot to contemplate ever since she said that, right? Because remember, the way this thing works down here, look, if 3 men grab a woman and violently have sex with her all at the same time or one after another, and she didn't consent, that's rape. And it's a serious rape. It's a gang rape. Okay? And I don't know why my metaphors are so vulgar tonight. I do apologize, okay? But you know what? Who gives a fuck? The vulgar metaphor just gets right to the point, okay? And Jesus fucking Christ, if you find the Talamanca Review vulgar, just wait for the next 5 years. Holy fuck. It's going to be right in your face, okay? I mean, it already is with the fucking snuff film in Gaza and fucking Ukraine. And that's what those are. Those are global snuff films. They're doing that to demoralize us, showing us massive numbers of people dying. Nothing you can do about it, dumb fucking goy. Watch this. We're going to kill women and children. What are you going to do about it, dumb fucking goy? So, the fuck was I saying again? I'm so emotional. I just all over the place this podcast. Maybe I should have gone to bed. No, I actually think these are the best podcasts, the raw and the honest ones, where I kind of half don't want a podcast and I just come on anyways and I just fucking let go, right? And I'm just tired of holding back. I don't live in a fucking ashram. I haven't taken any oath to any fucking Buddhist abbot. If I want to fucking swear, I'm going to fucking swear. Fuck it. It's a vulgar time we live in. Vulgarity is the best language to capture it. I value language. So, you can read all through the history of the secret societies. I mean, when I was doing the Martinist material, they were talking about that super Martinist who really became like the godfather of the whole French secret society movement. I forget his name now. But those of you who go that far back with me when I was on IBN, International Broadcast Network, there was a French Martinist who could literally manifest in the lodge. It would terrify people, terrify people. And that's, if you're following any of the satanic disclosure now, all of these YouTube channels and survivors of that, they'll talk about manifestations in the satanic rituals as well. Well, what I'm telling you is that science became an adjunct to this magical process sometime just after World War II. They locked it all down. They got technology they didn't quite understand. They turned it over to DARPA. They made sure that DARPA didn't have to turn it over to Congress. That all happened in the 70s with that amendments to the Defense Appropriation Act that I covered. Behind all of this is an evil fucking kike by the name of Henry Kissinger, mass murderer, make Jimmy Savile look like a fucking Boy Scout, okay? And the perfect ending to the 20th century, which was begun by another fucking miserable fucking cunt of a kike in Sigmund Freud, okay? And I don't mean to be vulgar and denigrate people and call them names and stuff like that, but what do you want me to call a fucking serial rapist, a pedophile, and probably the most prolific mass murderer of the 20th century? Okay? Because nothing got done without Kissinger's approval. And that includes what Mao did in China. Okay? You have no idea who Kissinger was in the 20th century. He's a piece of shit. Okay? I don't, a guy like that wouldn't even go to hell. I think he would just be spiritually disintegrated. Okay? And that happens too, by the way. You can literally be disintegrated. The energy that composed your individuality never ceases to exist because the God energy cannot cease to exist. It is by its very nature eternal. But you go back to source unconscious, not retaining any memories or individuality, and that particulate of energy gets resold and sent back down into the material worlds for a cycle that can last. I've heard various stories, but like up to 8 billion years. So I mean, it's talk about redoing the fourth grade, right? But there's a penalty for everything in this reality, and you want to go super evil, there's a super penalty. Don't say you weren't warned. And there's a part of me that actually believes that there are significant numbers of the Jewish population now trying to commit what I would consider to be spiritual suicide, meaning that they don't even want to exist anymore. Not in a body, not out of a body. They're literally trying to commit spiritual suicide. That's the best way I could possibly answer what's going on in that culture. And it's an affectation of dozens and dozens of generations of studying this super sick shit. And it's super sick shit. The Talmud, the Zohar, the Kabbalah, the Torah even. It's sick fucking shit. Let's stop pretending it fucking isn't, okay? It's sick fucking shit, and they deserve whatever happens for them for stewing in that shit for like 3,000 years. You should have known it was a bunch of shit right from the get-go with fucking Solomon. Not my fault you're fucking stupid, or you got seduced by the power the magic offered you. Now you're realizing all contracts end. Okay, and the devil rats everybody out, and you thought you were gaming the devil and the demons because Solomon gave you a signet ring? Fuck you. It don't work that way, you dumb fucking cunt. Okay? Be good. Always be good. Okay? So we're reaping this world now, okay? This is the world that's coming into form now, is this world that began after World War II. The whole fucking thing. Cynthia, the first alien human. And that's another thing, massive numbers of hybrids on the planet now. Start to put all the pieces together, okay? World War II, the Nazis, all the occult shit, the National Security Act, Majestic 12, Henry Kissinger, all the shit they did in the 70s with the money, the gold standard, changing the Defense Appropriations Act so the super technology did not have to go through congressional purview, thus in creating what we now call the deep state, which some guy named Donald Trump is allegedly fighting, which I'm seriously beginning to doubt, okay? Meanwhile, your society is literally being collapsed around you. Okay? Now, why do I give the Jews such a hard time? It's this simple. All the evil shit going on in the world is what they have desired be done. Now, what power they have over these people, I think stuff like Epstein and stuff like that, but I think it's much deeper than that. I think it's very dark and nasty fucking magic, and if you're not spiritually based, that shit will wipe you out. I've had a few people, very powerful people, take runs at me. The fucktard galactic historian tried it. Couldn't take me out. But I've experienced it, and I'm aware of 3 or 4 people he killed magically. Creates rapid cancers, brain tumors. That's what he does. That's what these fucktards do. They can do that shit. Okay? So can the rabbis. They've been able to do it for centuries. It's all in their literature. Okay? So they terrorize people, right? But a new kind of man is coming. A new kind of spiritual man is coming. And this will be the man that cuts the head off the snake. And it's right around the corner, actually. And nobody sees it coming because everybody thinks we're living in a horrible time now. But we're not. We're living in a magnificent time where the world is going to get straightened out and all of the knots are going to get untied. I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this. I don't know. Skullduggery, maybe. I'm Bruce McDonald, and this has been the Talamanca Review on my podcast, on my iPad.